Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain episode 136. Andrew Eisen here, along with Zachary Knight. Hello, Zachary.
Hello, Andrew. So,
Hey,
how are you doing?
I am doing okay because I have a weekend all to myself. I don't have to work, and I haven't checked my email, so hopefully nothing's blowing up.
That's good.
Because man, I'm still recovering from that like 3 weeks where I was working, you know,
Yeah,
12 to 14-hour days, including the weekends. I mean, the overtime was nice. I mean, the paycheck from that period, that was nice.
that's good.
So, but I
Yeah,
still, I think I've mentioned this before. I got taken off of the off hour. I was on the helping out with the helpline, the technical support helpline. So I would
yeah.
participate in the off hours rotation. They took me off of that, and I did my taxes last weekend, and that. Even though they bumped my pay a little itty bitty bit to try and compensate that, I was still down nearly $6,000 this year. So
Ouch.
yeah,
That's sad.
that one hurt. So yeah, mm, not fun, but I still make enough to put food in my pantry, so I'm okay.
Yeah,
Really, the only thing it affects is free time. I mean, I'm not in danger of losing my home. I'm staying fed. I'm good. It just encroaches on my free time, which is a bummer because I have less time to do fun things like make stupid YouTube videos like eating
yeah.
kumquats, which I totally did. Um, So I guess since I'm seeing a lot of before we go into topics, I do want to say that I played the rest of the uh Daemon X Machina demo, and it's
Did it?
bad.
It's.
It's just really bad.
I was
I have
hoping it would get better.
Yeah, I haven't read any like impressions, so I'm not sure how anyone else is reacting to it, but um I actually didn't complete the demo because it's just really bad. Um it's not fun to play. Let me start off in some bright spots. I like the aesthetic. I think the mechs are neat looking. I like the customization, both for the mech itself and your character. There's a whole create a character thing, which is neat, but there's also an upgrade system, and some of the upgrades physically affect your character. Like if you upgrade her sight so that she can see further or have something like that, she gets like bionic eyes and they glow, and she gets like little glowy lines across her face, and you can replace their arms and legs. So there's almost a too human type of
Yeah,
aspect to it that's really neat. And are you sure you want to install this upgrade? Because maybe you're trading in your humanity. That's really neat. Some of the character designs are really cool. I like the colorful aesthetic, the yellows and the reds and oranges. Not something we typically see.
yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, it's not fun to play. It controls a little weird. The controls are kind of floaty. There's so much garbage on the screen that it's really difficult to figure out what you're supposed to be shooting at. There isn't a good tactile sense of you're actually hitting things, especially I think you just shoot in the general direction of an enemy, and after a while it blows up and you're like, oh, I guess I was hitting it. There's a big crab tank thing at some point, and it never feels like. One of the problems I have with Cuphead
Hmm.
is due to the way to switch topics like that, but due to the way Cuphead works with its pre-animated characters, is they can't really react to what you're doing. You're constantly shooting them and their animations are playing regardless, so there isn't that tactile sense of you actually hitting them. And Daemon X Machina suffers, I think, from the same problem, to the point where I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing any good at
Yeah,
all. It's hard to spot the enemies. It's hard to spot your friends. It's hard to spot anything that you need on the ground. The sound balance is bad. You can probably adjust that in the settings. I didn't futz with it too much, but
yeah.
I was talking last week how I needed to switch the dialogue to English because they talk over everything, and you can't. I can't read it and do the game at the same time. But it
Yeah.
didn't matter that much because the vocals are completely buried under the soundtrack and the sound effects and game audio. So yeah, just
Mm.
also the graphics are kind of, while I like the aesthetic and the style, the graphics are just bad.
Mm.
It's also a weird, the style of the mechs and the characters and the bright colorful design clashes with the more realistic city buildings that are sitting around.
Yeah.
It's like all of the buildings and cars and props in the city that you're fighting in look like placeholders. It looked like temporary models that they haven't replaced with the actual in-game models yet, which may be the case. The game's not coming out till I think summer or something like that. Um, Also, the game doesn't run very well. It chugged a bit here and there. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, but
So,
even
yeah.
worse than the game is the survey that they sent out after you play the game. Oh my God, that is the most incompetently put together survey I have ever seen. Check this out. On page 5 of the survey, it says like, "What did you think of the question on page 3?" And I'm like, I don't remember what the question was at this point. And then a couple pages later, they referenced the question on that page, which referenced another question on a previous page. I'm like, who wrote this? Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah.
I am
Now,
so bummed about that because that has
yeah.
a lot of potential.
Yeah, they did mention that, this was a very early demo, but man, I didn't realize it was going to be like that early of a demo because it just seems like, yeah, it's not at all ready to show the public. And this would be like a pitch demo, for you
Proof
know
of concept,
a
yeah.
proof of concept, but not
Atreitsu says the
really.
humanoid mechs do react. I got into one fight with another team of mechs, similar to the mech I'm in, and they might react, but I didn't notice, probably because they were just too far away. At one point, my mech died, and I had to eject, and I was running around on foot, which was actually kind of funny. I didn't realize that was a thing. You get out of your mech and you start taking pot shots of the rest of them, which is a funny idea, but it just took forever. And I actually ended up winning somehow. I didn't die, even though I'm just some dipstick running around.
Nice.
But man, that game is gonna have to do something special between now and release because I was ill impressed. Melee hits make them fly away. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't. I just was shooting at them. Although you can pick up like yank a stop sign out of the ground and have a big piece of concrete on the end and smack things with it. It's kind of hard to get up to a mech that's flying all around and actually do that though.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's potential there, but that game needs some more time in the oven. So hopefully it turns out great. But yeah, the
Hopefully.
demo
Yeah.
the demo did not impress
Yeah. Hopefully.
me.
But, uh, yeah, that was definitely one of the most interesting concepts that came out. Uh, they announced last year, I guess, and yeah, I hope it comes out better. But yeah, these early looks that people are getting, or the all the thoughts that are being shared. Most people are giving them the benefit of the doubt, but yeah, it's not looking good so far. But
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so let's start with topics, and before we get to Pokemans, let's talk about THQ Nordic, who has taken the trophy from Bethesda this week for just
Oh
the
man.
dumbest move, the dumbest PR move I think that any video game company has done in years. I mean, I'm
It's got to be.
just
Yeah.
one of the most ill-advised. What on earth were you thinking? Um, I how to even preface this one because they did actually take the initial tweet down after at least 12 hours.
Yeah.
Because I checked before I went to bed and was still up, and then it was gone the next morning. So
Yeah,
it
when
was
I
up for
actually
at
wanted to
least
read
12
the
hours.
tweet,
Um,
see the actual tweet, it was gone. But
so THQ Nordic, who is responsible for the Darksiders games and several others, decided to had a tweet up on its site, up on the Twitter, that said something along the lines of, "We are doing an AMA in Ask Me Anything." Something that's usually done on Reddit, right?
yeah,
It's a live Q&A session. So a person or company or representative thereof will be on a message board on Reddit or wherever, and people can come and ask questions and they'll answer them for an hour or so. That's what an AMA, Ask Me Anything, is. So they say, "We are going to do an AMA on 8chan, and we don't know why." Now, what I find interesting is that they preemptively answered the question that they knew everyone was going to have.
why?
Why? I mean, to put it into perspective, if you don't know what 8chan is, you might be like, 8chan? If you've heard of 4chan, right?
Yeah,
8chan spun off of 4chan because the stuff that's too bad for 4chan is what 8chan is. So it was so bad it was delisted by Google. Uh, there,
yeah,
I'm sure there's some very funny memes on 8chan if you know where to look, but there is also just a lot of hate speech, harassment campaigns, calls for swatting, doxing, actual child porn, which is why Google delisted them. Uh, not the most pleasant place on the internet. So
yeah.
kind of an odd place for a video game company to want to host their AMA. It would be kind of like if Nintendo said, "Hey, we're doing an AMA on the Daily Stormer." You'd be like, "What?
Yeah.
Why?"
Yeah, it's you would think that I don't know, I don't know what their thought process was because most people when they do or people or companies or whatever when they do an AMA and they're wanting to actually promote something or just share something, they'll go to Reddit, sometimes Twitter. Um, sometimes they'll do a live video on Facebook or YouTube or something. But this is the first time that I've heard of anybody doing this on a Chan site, let alone 8chan. It's like I
And
don't.
here's the thing: most people have not heard of 8chan. And if you Google 8chan, the first thing that you're going to find out about is the worst stuff that you would find at 8chan, like
Yeah,
child pornography. That's the first thing you're going to find if you try and go, if you're like, "What the hell's 8chan?" and you look it up, that's what you're going to find. So it's really, really odd that a video game company would want to associate itself with that.
yeah.
So, Jordan says it would be quite a PR stunt for Nintendo to promote through Molehill Mountain.
If they
Yeah,
want to, if they want
if
to,
they want, they can. But the first, if Nintendo America's Twitter said, "Hey, Reggie for his exit interview is going to be on the Molehill Mountain podcast," everyone, and we don't know why, because that's what everyone's question would be why.
and followed by what's the Molehill Mountain? Because we have like what a dozen live viewers at most.
I
I
can't
don't, I
even
don't
look
know how
because
many.
Google took away the viewers view, so I have no idea. Peak concurrent right now is 7, but I have no idea.
Yeah,
So now my initial thought. Here's another interesting thing: is um, I and apparently several others. Again, if you know nothing about HN, you may not really have a good concept of why this is so WTF. Um, I and apparently several others looked at this tweet and thought there was a pretty high chance that THQ Nordic's Twitter got hacked.
yeah.
We're like, they couldn't possibly be that dumb, right? Um,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. And within 2 hours, the gentleman, the PR manager, took something. Brock took the response. Said, "I didn't know what I was getting
Philip
into. I
Rock.
didn't do due diligence. Blah blah." Oh, actually, I have it here. Hang on a second. Let's see. I personally agreed to this AMA without doing my proper due diligence to understand the history and the controversy of the site. I do not condone child pornography, white supremacy, or racism in any shape or form. So to give you an idea of what this site's associated with, he goes on, I'm terribly sorry for the short-sightedness of my decision and promise to be far more vigorous in my assessment of these activities in the future. This was not about being edgy. This blew up, and I very much regret to have done it in the first place. Sincerely, Philip Brock, PR and Managing Director of THQ Nordic. Okay, so I find that I want to believe him, but I don't at all. I don't think someone just came to him and said, "Hey, come do an AMA here," and he went, "All right." This is a guy who's been in PR for Nordic for like 5 or 6 years. I
Yeah.
I don't, but also I went to the AMA thread and I looked at the way he and another were actually interacting with the group there. I'm guessing he's a regular. I'm guessing he knows what 8chan is and is known for and the associations thereof. So I could be wrong, but I don't believe him.
Yeah.
So uh,
Yeah. It's
Bethesda's like, whoo, wasn't us this week.
yeah. It reads like a this is it reads like a top down statements. Like his boss said, "This is what you're saying publicly," and
I Yeah,
because
but
that's
this is it's gonna need you get you THQ is gonna need to do more than just blame one dude and fire one dude.
oh yeah.
You gotta own up to
And
this one.
but to be honest, okay, so to be fair to THQ Nordic here is that I had completely forgotten that THQ was still a living company until this story broke out.
Oh, come on, Darksiders 3 just came out recently, right?
Yeah. I
And
don't
was
know.
not very
It's
good.
just it's not a game franchise I follow, and so it's just like the last THQ game that I remember was You Draw, and how that kind of broke the bank for
Yeah.
them, and so I thought they were dead after that. But
Psychedelic Snake in the chat is talking a little bit more about the specifics of 8chan. And 4chan, one of its guiding ethos was anything goes, no moderation. Whatever the community will accept is what is acceptable, right?
yeah,
No censorship, no limits, just whatever you want to talk about, that's what you can talk about. And ideally, that sounds like a good thing, right? That sounds like a really neat thing. Wow, we can talk about anything we want. We can say really naughty words and not get in trouble. We can tell really dirty jokes. It's going to be great. And then but the problem is even though even though you might shy away from moderation, a little moderation is good, right?
yeah,
Think about what. Let me try and come up with a really dumb analogy. Think about your refrigerator. you know, which you have to, according to Perrin Kaplan, you have to clean out every now and then. Your refrigerator is your refrigerator. You, as a free adult, can put anything you want in your refrigerator. Anything at all. It's up to you. There are no limits. But there probably should be, right? Like, don't put poison in the refrigerator because
yeah.
someone might actually drink it. It might contaminate the food. At some point, someone's going to get sick. So, yeah, you can put anything in the fridge, but you shouldn't, you know? And that's kind of why the whole idea of zero moderation or
Yeah.
zero curation at all, almost always, I will say, I would probably put money on always without exception, but let's cover our bets and say almost always doesn't work.
Yeah.
Look at Steam, for example. Steam kind of has that idea of just whatever. Don't even care if it runs. Don't even care if the game has an execution. Whatever. And it's crap. There's so much garbage, it makes it difficult to actually find the good games. And I think the same thing is something I've seen Snake talk about here in the chat is there used to be some great stuff there, but it's buried under a mountain of just horribleness. I mean,
Yeah.
you could probably, if you know where to look and you're dedicated to finding it, you could probably find some really funny stuff on 4chan or 8chan. But do you really want to wade through all that hatred and horribleness? I
Yeah.
personally don't. I mean, maybe your quest for the greatest meme is that important, but I don't know. I'd be like, no, I'll be with at I can has cheeseburger or something, you know. Um,
Yeah.
but really,
But
end of the day, the point of this is, uh, like I can put poison in my fridge. Uh, Ill-advised, but I can do it, and you can't say anything about it. THQ is well within its right to do an AMA with anyone it wants. That doesn't mean it's a good business choice, though, and this
yeah.
strikes me as a real bad one. Sorry, Snake. One of your comments was stuck in a moderation thing there for a couple minutes. Sorry about that. I didn't notice. Um, so,
Yeah.
um, Bethesda, you're in the clear for this week, but you better watch it.
Yeah, you
Because
better. Because
we internet folks, we forget after a couple of days, and that kind of feels like what THQ Nordic is counting on, that we're all just going to forget after a couple of days.
well, they need to
They're
start
just
tweeting because
yeah,
their apology tweet is
is
still the
still
top
number one up
tweet. It
there.
is
Yeah,
until the not number one. Yeah, but mm, but yeah, that you know, I guess the main advice here for anybody that wants to do an AMA is do it on a site that is reputable within the community. Yeah, but yeah, I just wouldn't touch a chance site in my life if I were doing an AMA. But it never hurts to just play it safe and do it on Reddit.
you know,
They've got a dedicated AMA board. So
the thing that I find, the thing that upsets me the most. No, this is not the thing that upsets me the most. I apologize for that. The thing that I find particularly sad is I like to think that 4chan actually did start out with the best of intentions, and just failed.
yeah,
Something like the Daily Stormer, which I name dropped earlier. That's a Nazi propaganda site, um, which is not delisted by Google, so far as I know. Which which tells you about 8chan. Yeah, Daily Stormer,
yeah,
fine. 8chan, no. Um, Daily Stormer started out as Nazi white nationalist garbage. Right? That's what it was always intended to be. I don't think 4chan the original concept was like this will be a breeding ground for harassment campaigns and hate speech and child
yeah,
pornography and swatting attempts and things like that. I don't know, but I like to believe that that wasn't the initial plan, and to see it grow to that is really distressing because I bet that there are a lot of people probably around my age who started out there and are just super depressed and probably intrinsically a bit defensive of it because it's like, can we ever take this back? That's not what it was supposed to be. It used to be cool and now it's garbage. So
yeah,
yeah, I have some sympathy for some of the originals who, you know, liked what it was supposed to be and maybe even hold out hope for what it could be again, you know? Um,
yeah.
but
But
unfortunately, that's just not what it is now, and
yeah,
that's
and it's going to be
a damn shame.
very hard to make it that at any point. So because yeah, once something like this gets that far down the path, it's just there's not a lot that
It's
could be done.
it's kind of like the swastika. I mean, regardless of what the origins of that symbol, whichever way it's pointing, originally were, it's it's forever tainted, at
Yeah.
least for several more generations. And it's sad. But it's like, well, the swastika, that thing used to mean peace in a different culture. It's like, yeah, and I understand the desire to take that back from the bad guys, but as some symbology, I think is just a losing battle, and you kind of got to
Yeah.
let it go. It's
Yeah.
been forever tainted, so to speak. So,
Yeah.
Snake says to see my favorite website run into the ground by edgy teens is just saddening. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, so THQ, do better. Brock, I wish you well in looking for a new job because I, I have, man, I don't know if you're keeping this one. Uh, I, I'm not calling for Mr. Brock to be fired. I would fire him if I was his boss
Yeah.
because not because I think he's a terrible person or anything, but because he literally didn't do his job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those, you had one job, Brock, and he didn't do it. So,
Yeah.
mm. But anyway, so that was a head slapper from this week. Let's talk about Pokemon
Yeah.
now.
All right.
So, one of let's see, Detective Pikachu's second trailer came out this week, and I'm really looking forward to this
I
movie.
am
This
too.
movie looks so good.
This trailer, as much as I love the first trailer, this one topped it. It's a really good progression on the first trailer,
I agree, but I don't
man,
think it would work as well without the foundation of the first trailer.
yeah, that's true because the first trailer laid out the course story of the main two characters, and this one just was more of a theatrical style trailer and
Mm.
less about the actual story of the theme. But man, they showed tons more Pokemon and
What's
Ludicolo and
the
Snubble,
monkey with the hand for a tail? What,
Apom, yeah.
Ape? That looks like a frighteningly mean little bastard, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Look
that
at the
one is.
chompers they gave him. Oh
But
my
yeah,
god.
that one is one of the stranger changes because in the games, Apom is a much more cheerful monkey, a happy monkey, and this one he's an angry monkey, and I'm just
Just
like,
redo
whoa,
monkey shines with Apom, man.
man, yeah, that one was pretty terrifying. But man, Snubble and the pink pit bull Pokemon, and then Ludicolo, the one that was behind the bar with the duck bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys, I love those ones. Those ones looked really good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um, I liked the music choices. I was really impressed with
yeah.
the arrangement of the Pokemon theme, and I wanted
Hmm.
to hear more of it, but it switched to "I Need a Hero," which yeah, okay, can't argue
Yeah,
with that
I
one.
liked "Happy Together" better as a song choice, but
Um, Here's something that I was kind of surprised by, and this is probably because I'm not into Pokemon, but people were losing their damn fool minds about Mewtwo. See, when Mewtwo showed up, I went, "Oh, Mewtwo." Much in the same way I went, "Oh, Snorlax." It didn't.
yeah,
I was like, "Oh, one of the original 151, I think." I'm like, "It's Mewtwo." Okay,
yeah,
cool. But people are like, "Oh my God, it's Mewtwo." I'm like, "Really?" I mean, okay, great, but it didn't
yeah.
strike me as
Oh,
that
and
notable.
it it didn't strike me as notable either, and I still don't understand
Except
the
he's
freak out
probably going
over
to
it.
psychically smush the brains of a lot of people. I think people
Yeah,
are going to die in this movie.
but man, but from what I understand, he's kind of the end game of the Detective Pikachu video game as well. So, um, but it doesn't make continuity sense. Okay, whatever. But yeah,
Well,
I don't know
you're
anything
just
about
saying
it.
it's
But
only fan service, and well, it seemed to have worked because the fans
yeah,
seem to be.
but yeah, but that's what most of the Pokemon appearances are in the trailer. Because I doubt. very many of the Pokemon you see in the trailer are going to be key to the story. They're just going to be background characters, and this trailer is just featuring as many of those background characters as you can.
I
Because
think they went back and added more scenes of Mr. Mime. I think
yeah,
the reaction to Mr. Mime said, "We've got to go back and put more Mr. Mime in there."
yeah, that was good. Because yeah, so from what I understand, just based on these two trailers, the key story Pokemon so far are going to be Pikachu, Psyduck, and the Greninjas, the ones that were the ninja things that were throwing the water bolts at Detective Pikachu, and then the Charmander or Charizard. Those are going to be the key story Pokemon as much as story as some of them are going to carry. But yeah, all the other ones are just there to show off. This is what we think these Pokemon are going to would look like in real life, and
I love
man,
the fact that the couple of Pokemon float balloons that we've seen. I think we've seen a Pikachu and a Psyduck and a
yeah,
and a
Gengar and a
Gengar
Jigglypuff,
and
and
Jigglypuff, right?
yeah,
I love the fact that the parade balloons are the
video game
literal
ones.
video game art.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
exactly what they look like in the video game. So the
Yeah,
in-universe interpretation is what they look like in the video game. I love that. Uh,
yeah.
I thought it was interesting seeing. I don't know what the creature's name is, but I think it's the Eevee evolution.
A
It's in the
Flareon or
Flareon.
Jolteon. Yeah,
I think
Jolteon's the electric one. Flareon's the fire one. I think as Flareon was in the trailer.
yeah, it shows up
Yeah.
standing on a table between statues of Archaeopteryx,
Uh,
two of the legendary.
yeah, to the legendaries. Yeah.
I'm like, did it teleport in or did it just evolve? Are we actually going to see an evolution? That could
That
be
would be kind of neat. Yeah. Um,
Jordan. I hope they address the free Pokemon healthcare. That'd be funny. Pokemon have free healthcare, no one else does.
yeah.
My Pokemon fainted. Oh well, we'll fix it up for free. My son has a broken arm. Well, that's going to be $6,000.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have insurance. Well, it's going to be more.
Well, when your entire economy is based around the capture, exploitation, and battling of animals, you kind of make that as cheap as possible for the people doing it. I guess it would be the goal, so that it's possible for them to make money. Although game theory has theorized that it's a money losing proposition to become a Pokemon trainer. So
Matthew says Greninja is his favorite since it was added in Gen 6. I love the design of that ninja lizard thing with its tongue wrapped around its face as a scarf. That's
yeah,
such a great design. Um, let's see. Do we think Team Rocket will be in there?
I don't know. Because as far as I know, it's based on the video game, at least loosely based on the video game. So I don't know if Team Rocket's in that or not.
Or
But
maybe just Meowth will walk by grumbling to himself. I don't know what the big deal about a talking Pokemon is. I talk all the time. Grumble, grumble, grumble.
yeah,
So, let's see.
yeah,
Mr. Mime is still funny.
yeah. He's still pretty
Oh,
funny.
he's
I
running
like that.
away as a mime. He's just
Oh, he's on a bicycle, or he's on a bike.
yeah.
Catch him.
Oh, there was one thing that didn't really probably because I'm old, it didn't strike me as unusual, but I saw a lot of people not. Pikachu said hell. He said a bad word. I'm like, dude, I saw did you see the Ninja Turtles movie in like '92? The turtles
Yeah.
say damn like 3 or 4 times throughout that film. That film's kind of
Well,
dark.
Raphael actually yells it several
Yeah.
times, but yeah, a lot of people heard that, and yeah, it is a little jarring. But when you think, this is a talking Pikachu, I'm sure he's going to pick up on some of the the mannerisms of humanity, and swear a little bit.
Well,
But
it's very possible that Pokemon are predominantly really foul-mouthed little buggers. We just don't know because all we hear is Pika Pika and Bulbasaur and stuff like that. They're probably being really filthy.
yeah, probably.
Bulbasaur's like, what did you just call my mother?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
also,
when Ash is carrying conversations with his Pokemon and interpreting us for them, it's really just them calling. They're just swearing at him and yelling at him and and just making fun of him the whole time. But
if Jinx
uh,
shows up, Jinx was redesigned anyway, wasn't she?
yeah, it's now a navy blue,
Yeah. So
not quite dark navy, but
for
yeah,
anyone who doesn't know, Jinx, the Pokemon, had a black face with big red lips and big white eyes, which in Japan might not mean anything, but in America is pretty synonymous with blackface. So
yeah, yeah.
the
It's a
design was updated.
yeah, very common black caricature in animation and art back in the early 1900s.
Back
And
before before racism ended, right?
yeah, but yeah, and yeah, it caused a lot of controversy, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a Jinx show up. It's a lot of
I would
people
bet
have
that all
come to
151
terms
and
with
Gen
it.
1 will be in there somewhere.
Possibly, yeah. Just either as a background Pokemon
Mhm.
or something they actually interact with. But
I've probably said this before, but I want them to go into like the 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 sexy dancer bar and have some of the sexy Pokemon like
yeah,
Gardevoir or whatever her name is,
Gardevoir and
pole dancing on stage.
Lopunny,
That'd be
and
great.
yeah, that would be kind of skeevy and creepy. But
And of course, Lickitung.
yeah,
So gross.
yeah, that one. Yeah, they we get a brief look at Lickitung, and its tongue just. Oh man.
I love the nightmarish look of some of these creatures. It's so great.
It is, and uh,
Kind of
it's gonna.
kind of reminds me of how, in some ways, unsettling and horrifying Howard the Duck looked in the movie from the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it's a really neat costume, but it was just kind of unsettling in a lot of ways.
yeah.
So, okay,
Yeah.
so let us move on from Detective Pikachu, which may end up being just the greatest video game movie of live action video game movie of all time, to until Sonic comes out.
Oh man. I hope they redesign Sonic
Probably what
before
they're
the.
doing. I have to imagine that the poster came out and then the Detective Pikachu trailer came out and they're like, oh no, oh we've got to redo this whole thing. We've got to
Oh,
pull
Jordan says.
Prime 4 on this.
Jordan says I want a garbage man to actually or to accidentally throw away a Trubbish,
That would
and
be
I'm
great.
here thinking I want to see a Trubbish accident or attack a garbage man who thinks he's garbage.
Hey, Travis.
Yeah.
So moving on. Nintendo had a Nintendo Direct this week at 6 a.m. So I got up at my regular time because I wasn't getting up that early for it. Uh,
Yeah, I didn't watch it live either because it was
yeah.
at 8
And
o'clock.
besides,
And
when
there's
I watched it, I didn't have to worry about any weird streaming issues. So, Pokemon Direct, which officially unveiled Gen 8 Pokemon Sword and Shield,
yeah,
instead of uh, elements or gems or heavenly bodies. Now it's
or letters,
or oh, that's right, X and Y.
X and Y. Yeah,
Sword and Shield, which I guess it shouldn't, but it just
Yeah.
like Sword and Shield, huh? For some reason, that just strikes me as an odd naming convention.
Yeah, well, it still sticks with the duality that they tend to go for with these games, but yeah, the sword and shield. Some everybody seemed to notice that this seems to be loosely based on the UK, and yeah, sword and shield makes sense for that region, and and so it is a clever take and a clever naming convention for it. But yeah, but still sticks with the duality system that they go with the name for the names of these things. But yeah, so
I should think the sword there will actually be a physical sword and shield in these games, like actual
um,
MacGuffin that people are fighting over.
probably not. Because was there a literal X and Y that people were fighting over?
I don't
But
know.
yeah,
Probably not.
um, no, I don't think there's going to be anything like that. But maybe, but there are Sword and Shield Pokemon in there, so maybe those will make a comeback. But but man, some of the memes that came out of this trailer, like the leaked Pokemon that people been would post and stuff. Some of those are great, but
Shaped Pokemon. Okay.
yeah, but yeah, it's so we saw the starters, but no other new Pokemon from the game, and just the
Right.
basic forms of the starters. We don't know what their evolutions are going to look like. Um,
So
but
we've got Flame Bunny, Cry Tadpole, and Grass Monkey.
Grass Monkey, that funky monkey.
Was it close? Sobble is the crying tadpole, right?
Let's see here. I'm looking this up real quick because I completely spaced on what their names are. Okay, so it's Grookey is the grass monkey,
Monkey, right?
Score Bunny is the
Score
rabbit,
Bunny.
and
Okay.
Sobble is the I'm assuming it's a water chameleon because it turns invisible. It's got the chameleon hands and the curly tail.
Are we
So
sure it's not a water ghost type?
yeah, I don't know, but yeah, one of the big things that I've seen is that a lot of people are hoping that Score Bunny's not going to evolve into a firefighting type because
Are there
so
are
far
there
we've
too
had
many of
three
those?
of those, three starters turn into fighting types, and
So Litten would be one, right?
Litten,
Incineroar, I think, is the.
yeah, yeah, but the first one was Blaziken. Torchic evolved into Blaziken, which was a firefighting,
Okay.
and then Chimchar, which was the very next generation, evolved into a firefighting type, and then we had Litten evolving into Incineroar as a firefighting type, and so yeah, everybody's just like, no, not another fighting type, and yeah, Matthew says the bandage on his nose gives it away. Um, and that's why everybody's just like, no, not another one. And I've seen a lot of memes where it's just people they they evolved them all into, it's like they all evolve into a fighting whatever their base type is plus fighting, and then one of the best ones was it evolved further into a fighting type, like all of them turned, and it's like these really huge overly muscular dude bodies with the little tiny basic Pokemon's heads. It's great.
Someone evolved Grookey, the monkey grass one. The
Hmm.
right name Grookey evolved him
Yeah,
into, I think, Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z.
I've seen another one where it's Donkey Kong colored green. That one's fun. I like that. And then I've seen some Score Bunny ones where it evolves into the Trix Rabbit with the same color scheme, and then evolves into I don't know if you saw the meme, but Chumbus or it's like a fat Bugs Bunny meme. I don't know where this thing came from, but that's what the final evolution was, and But,
Otritsu has a correction. Incineroar is a fire dark type. Tepig
oh,
is
is he?
one that was a firefighting.
Oh, Tepic was the firefighting. Okay, I knew there was a third one. I just didn't know which one it was.
See, the
But
first time I
yeah,
heard this controversy, oh no, not another firefighter. I was thinking like the job firefighter,
yeah,
with the truck and the hose and stuff. Because it wasn't written as fire slash fighting, it was
yeah,
firefighter. I'm like, what? I was totally confused. I'm picturing the bunny with a
yeah,
hat and a hose, and
yeah,
I'm like, I don't know. That sounds kind of fun. Uh,
yeah,
so I'll be honest. All three are cute. Although I want to slap Sobble, buck up,
yeah,
buddy. Uh, all three of them are cute, but none of them are really clicking for me. A lot of it.
yeah.
Who's your starter? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not really gravitating towards any of them. What about you?
Yeah,
Being you.
I'm kind of leaning towards Grookey, but yeah, a lot of times it kind of depends on what their evolution looks like.
I think most
Yeah,
people do. They
yeah.
want to see what it's going to evolve in.
But for me, I don't have a lot of experience with the actual mainstream Pokemon games. It's mostly just what's in Pokemon Go, which is up to Gen 4 now. Um, but my starter preference is just from playing Pokemon Go is Bulbasaur for Gen 1. Um, Gen 2 was Totodile. Gen 3 was Mudkip, and then Gen 4 is Chimchar with Turtwig. A very, very close second, but I really like Chimchar's evolution, the look of his evolutions, um, more than Turtwig's. So,
I I
uh,
would, if I had to pick, I'd go with Fire Bunny because, as I said, Sobble annoys me and I hate monkeys. So,
yeah.
so a process of elimination. We've got Flame Bunny.
Yeah.
Uh, what's its name?
Score Bunny.
Score Bunny. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah,
Matthew
there's
typically
also
goes
some
for the water Pokemon.
what's that?
Matthew
Oh,
typically goes for the water type.
yeah. I don't know. Racist much, Andrew, as
Uh,
Jordan says, because you hate monkeys.
oh yeah, okay,
Yeah,
sure.
but one of the
Don't eat gross things.
one of the there's been some funny memes out there too. It's like somebody posted the final evolutions of them, and I'm not familiar with all the characters, but they're Dragon Ball Z characters, and one of them is that God guy that brought out Goku's Super Saiyan God form. Um, and then I don't know who the other two
Is
guys
it
are.
is it the pink one?
Yeah, the pink
Uh, not
jackal thing with the really
Majin
long
Buu?
ears. Yeah, not
Oh
Majin.
no, the jackal looking one. Okay,
Yeah, the jackal looking one.
I don't know what its name is.
Yeah, I don't know its
Beerus
name either. But there
or
was that
Dragon
one, and
Beerus?
then
I don't know.
yeah, and then somebody else pointed out that these starters have a very striking resemblance to the Powerpuff Girls,
Hmm.
where Blossom, Blossom
With
is Score
the bow
Bunny
for the
with the
ears.
bow
Okay.
coming off. Grookey has Buttercup has very similar head, like the ponytails coming off the sides there, and then Sobble just
That'd
kind
be
of has
Bubbles
a
with the ponytails on her side.
oh well,
Know your Powerpuff Girls.
yeah, I don't. I'm looking at the she has some kind of hair. She has some kind of hair thing on the side that comes out and
Yeah,
then
just kind of a bob.
goes down. Yeah, and so they pointed out that Grookey's ears kind of look like that, and then
Oh,
the little point between Sobble's eyes looks like Buttercup's bangs part.
are we sure Grookey isn't Mojo Jojo? Is it
Nice.
Mojo Jojo? That's a great character. Mojo.
Ooh, that would. I wonder if anybody's actually considered that as a potential evolution because Mojo Jojo is a green monkey. Um,
That's
so he would evolve into a grass and psychic type or
there you
something.
go. There you go.
But yeah,
Ooh,
so
oh, so no, I got it. This is going to be the gimmick of this game. Three type Pokemon. So their
ooh,
final
three type Pokemon.
so Score Bunny isn't just going to be a fire fighting type. It'll be a fire fighting and something else type.
Yeah. Okay, that would
That's
be
my.
very interesting. Yeah, I don't know how that would work in the final meta
I
because
don't know how any of it works anyway.
yeah, you could have two really good a good combination of two of them, then you add a third one in that just breaks all of the advantages of the other two,
Mhm.
and but
Think we'll see a
uh,
new type. I think Fairy was
um
the last type, and that was like three generations
yeah,
ago.
I don't know. It's been a while since they've added a type. Because yeah, gyms or soccer stadiums, possibly. Yeah, they have a
I
very a resemblance to that.
yeah, I know. I was looking at that. I'm like, is that actually a gym or is that more of a just a
An
stadium
arena, yeah,
arena
state.
for major fights? And one thing I was joking about was, has there ever been a gym, with free weights and treadmills and stuff like that? There's eight generations of games. There's got to be one of the gyms
I don't know. They gotta
gym, right?
they gotta be able to get that workout somehow so that Ash can lift up a 400-pound Larvitar and without any issues. Yeah, but yeah, Ash is like secretly a superhero because he can lift up any Pokemon without breaking a sweat. But
According to Matthew, Fairy was added because Dragon needed to be balanced out because the only thing that beat Dragon was more Dragon.
yeah,
All right. So, let's see. So, anything about the game itself, other than the starters, stick out to you? I think it's got a
they
pleasant,
didn't
colorful,
really.
cartoony look.
Yeah, um,
I do wish Nintendo would someday figure out how to do anti-aliasing. That would be nice. But it's still a
yeah.
clean, attractive, colorful, cartoony look. So,
Yeah, it definitely looks good. I would have loved to have seen more Pokemon, and especially some of these starters in action in game. But yeah, because all the Pokemon in battling that they showed were existing Pokemon. So
yeah.
um,
Other than the starters, there wasn't anything new in there, was there?
yeah, the starters were the only new Pokemon they showed. Um, and then you had the lion or wolf heads or whatever on the logos,
Mm.
but yeah, no idea, no indication that those are actually going to be in-game Pokemon.
Right.
But
Jordan says, "Why is Game Freak not made an in-game knockoff of PETA just as a gag?" Weren't the bad guys in Black and White kind of a animal rights
I
organization?
have no idea.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it was X and Y. I think there was. I mean, they weren't a PETA knockoff, but it was kind of a making capturing animals and making them fight is wrong. It's like, yeah, it
So
is.
we're going to use animals
Gen
to
5.
fight you and make you stop. But
That was Black and White, right?
yeah,
Am I counting right? Was X
I
and Y and X and Y 2 the same generation, or is that considered a different generation?
no, those were those were the same generation.
Okay, so it'd be
Um,
Black and White, then XY and XY2, and then Sun and Moon, right?
yeah, Sun and Moon was
That
the
was
most
five,
recent
six,
one.
seven. Yeah, okay. So now we're at 8 with Sword and Shield. I think Link should
Yeah,
show up. And he's like, I got your sword and shield right here.
yeah, that would be kind of neat. But yeah.
Crossover. So, yeah, that's really all I've got for
Yeah,
Pokemon. I mean,
that's
it was a 7 minute direct, and really it was just kind of a here's the starters, here's the visual look. One thing I did notice is it looks like they're doing the random battles rather than seeing the actual Pokemon wander around in the grass. And I don't play Pokemon, but I don't know. Either way works for me. There is something interesting about being able to see the Pokemon and running after the ones you want and away from the ones you don't. Like, I don't want to fight any damn Zubats,
yeah,
but I'd be interested to know what the community feel if the community is predominantly no, we like the just wander around the grass and what's there is what's there, or if there's a lot of people who thought the Let's Go games had the right idea and wanted that to carry over to the mainline games. Don't know.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
but okay, but my final thought on this is that now that it's official that this is a Switch release, I guess this means that the 3DS is officially on its last legs. Because if the official Nintendo handheld isn't getting a mainline Pokemon game, is Nintendo actually going to make a 3DS follow up? Yeah.
um,
That's my only thought. It's just doesn't feel like Nintendo is planning on it in some way. But yeah,
yeah, I would say that hard to say. I mean, it depends on what they're planning for their follow-up system to the Switch. Is it going to be another hybrid system, or do they feel they want to go with just dedicated TV hardware and then dedicated portable hardware? Um, per, Pardon me. Personally, I'd rather they separate the two,
yeah,
because otherwise you just get a weak console that that is portable, but that doesn't mean anything. That's not appealing to me.
yeah,
So I'm not. This isn't what they should do. This is what Andrew wants. So I'd prefer what I would like to see, and what I was thinking they might do with the Switch back when it was the NX, and ooh, what is that? Was the whole hybrid thing would mean that the home console and the handheld played nice. Everything that you bought on the Switch, everything you bought on the handheld could be played on the console, and everything. It was
yeah, yeah,
two different ways to play, but essentially the same thing. Even though the console would be much more powerful, and they wouldn't run, the more powerful standard console games wouldn't run on the handheld. At least all the the eShop SNES games, you wouldn't have to buy
yeah.
it twice in both places. More of an integration between the console and
Oh yeah, definitely.
the
And
portable.
that was one of the well, I guess you couldn't play PSP games on the PlayStation 3, but but at least you could buy it one place and have it other places, have access to it elsewhere. And some games were playable on either one, like the PlayStation 1 classics you could play on the PSP or Vita, and also on your PS3. You didn't have to buy them separately. And that was one of the reasons why I was really excited when I found my PSP for 10
Yeah.
bucks. Yeah.
Matthew says the Switch is the 3DS follow-up, and that the Switch is a handheld that hooks up to the TV, not a portable console. Even though that's how Nintendo sells it, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it too. So what they might do is just replace the 3DS with the Switch. Say this is now our portable console, and our next thing is an actual dedicated TV console.
Hmm.
But they would probably do a redesign of the Switch that's a bit more portable friendly. A little bit smaller footprint, easier to put in your pocket.
Yeah.
If we do see this, there's a rumored new Switch console that's been batted around for several months now. Um, Maybe it's not a more powerful Switch; it's more of a Switch Mini, and now Switch even more easily fits in your pocket. Hmm, maybe
Maybe.
something
Yeah.
like
I can certainly see them going that route if they want to make the Switch that portable line, and then and say now you can get our Nintendo Super Switch or whatever you want to call it as their actual mainline home console later on, and it's like, and it plays your Switch games. That would be pretty neat, but yeah, I don't know. It's Nintendo's strategy is very, for me, I think it's a pretty challenging thing to try to guess, try to predict what
yeah,
their next step is, because
it's
they've
tough because in some manner you almost feel like they've painted themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
But Nintendo's
Well,
also
and it's just they've
around and
played.
knocked the wall down. So
Yeah, but they've played with disruption of technology
mm,
for this is the third generation in a row they've done it. Um, you know, with the Wii, where Microsoft and Sony were going more powerful hardware, Nintendo decided instead of more powerful hardware, let's create a new way to play games, and that they came up with the Wii. The Wii U was kind of a we're kind of out of ideas at the moment, or we really want to go. I think the Wii U was just kind of they wanted the Switch. They wanted their end goal was the Switch, but they needed something to bridge the gap between the Wii and the Switch
it,
because the technology wasn't quite ready or wasn't quite there for the Switch. So they went with kind of a stepping stone to that and brought us the Wii U with the gamepad, and then they got out the Switch, which was what I think was the end goal, their primary purpose with the Wii U.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, and then the DS and the 3DS were both disruptive, with the second screen and then the 3D technology, which they gave up on, and now I was at Walmart today, and 2DSs were the only things on the shelves. They had no 3DSs on the shelves, and and so that was something that I thought was kind of funny. It was something to take note of. They 3D the 3D was a gimmick that nobody really liked, and they got rid of it. So, but,
yeah, that's a shame because it is pretty neat. I mean, I,
yeah,
I always play when I play 3DS, which is not often, but when I do, I always had the
yeah.
3.
I can't do 3D. Like I can watch a 3D movie, but my eyes are uncomfortable through the whole thing. And the same thing with the 3D screen. Like I've played it a little bit with the 3D on the 3DS, and I don't have one, so this was just the demo unit at Walmart or Target or whatever, and I played it for a little bit, and I was just like, yeah, I would shut the 3D off on this.
Really, the most difficult for me, the most difficult thing about it, and I have the original model, is you have to hold it still and you have to hold it in the right spot. Because if your hands get tired and you start dropping, it goes out of focus.
Yeah,
That actually was improved a lot with the
yeah, with the new
3DS
3DS,
XL, I
and
think.
yeah,
With
yeah,
because
they
it used the
fixed that.
camera to kind of track where you were and adjust the screen, and that worked really well. I played with one of those and I was really
Yeah.
impressed. But yeah, I was actually kind of surprised at the 3D that essentially no one cared. Most people are completely happy to just turn the 3D off. They're like, I get more battery
Yeah,
out of it.
yeah, and it was just there weren't a whole lot of games out there to that that really took advantage of that in the gameplay, and which was unfortunate because it was like the touch screen on the Wii U. Very few games took advantage of that core gimmick, and yeah, so. But Otritsu says the 3DS is being phased out because Nintendo lost a patent lawsuit that would have pushed 3DS models prices above the Switch's price. I'm not familiar with that one. I'll have to look that one up.
Hmm.
It doesn't ring a bell, anyways, because
Uh,
Nintendo wins most of its patent lawsuits, as far as I'm aware. Losing one would be a pretty big deal, I think, considering how many they've won. But
yeah, if you've got a link to that, feel free to
yeah,
give it to one of us. Um, so a bit of a lightning round before we vomit for the evening. Did you see the new Hellboy trailer?
yeah, I saw the new Hellboy trailer. It looks very interesting. I I'm I liked the first the first
Two.
two Hellboy movies. The second one wasn't as good as the first one. I didn't think, but yeah, I think David Harbour does a really good job following up Ron Perlman's performance. Um, Yeah,
It's not grabbing me for whatever reason, and that's
yeah,
a shame because I like Hellboy, and I like Neil Marshall, who's directing this film. I've liked pretty much everything he's done. I think Dog Soldiers is probably my favorite werewolf movie. Um,
yeah,
so I'll almost certainly go to the theater and give the film
yeah,
a chance, but it's just not grabbing me for some reason, and I'm
yeah. Well,
not
and
sure why.
Ron Perlman has a presence about him that really that just really commands his performance. And, it commands your attention to his performance. And that's something that he has in all of his roles. It's like everything that I've watched with Ron Perlman in it. He really captures your attention. And David Harbour, no knock to him. He doesn't have quite that presence, that
Mm,
command. But I still think he does a pretty good job as Hellboy. So you know,
yeah. Yeah.
just based on the two live performances that we have of Hellboy in modern media.
Yeah,
Um,
well, I mean,
yeah,
how do you that's got to be terrifying trying to follow up Ron Perlman.
yeah. Well, that would be like trying to follow up Tim Curry in one of his famous roles.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
yeah, but
but
something Starsguard,
yeah,
it,
Bill
Bill
Skarsgård.
Skarsgård,
Yeah,
you know, basically you got to make it your own. You don't do an impression of the first one. Do some. I'm
exactly.
actually really
Yeah.
interested to see what they do with It Too. Um,
Yeah. So
or
do you think they'll have the orgy scene in it?
since
Yeah,
it wasn't in the first one, no.
no, nah, probably not.
Yeah,
But I
but
I
they
just thought
but they
my
they
daughter
tried to communicate the same exact idea with the blood thing,
blood pact,
where they
yeah,
all cut
whatever.
their
Yeah,
hands and held hands.
yeah,
Same idea that I think King was going for in the original book.
yeah.
It's just
But
that you know we need to bond and become
yeah,
one kind of thing.
yeah. Um, Other trailer news. Did you see the trailer for The Tick season 2 on Amazon for Amazon? Yep.
I did, but I didn't actually see any of season one because I don't have
Oh,
Amazon
you didn't?
Prime. But it
Okay.
it looks funny. I've
Oh, it
wanted more of
does.
the show.
I'm really excited that they're bringing in a lot more superhero characters because with the first season they had the Tick, Arthur, I forget the Punisher guy's name, and then Captain Superior or whatever his name was. Um, those were it. That was it. And then you had the Terror and Miss Lint were the only two real bad guy superhero or super villains. Um, so it looks like they're going to be really, really, you know, bringing in the crowd, so to speak, the side characters, and they had some really funny characters in that trailer, and I'm really excited for this. I've got Amazon Prime, and I'm excited. I'm I want to see this, and what is it, April 5th or April 15th? Can't come soon enough, but
So there was the streaming service that I've been intending to join for a long time now is Shudder, which is the horror streaming service. And it looks like Joe Bob Briggs is gonna have a recurring show, so I love Joe Bob.
nice.
And he's done a three marathon. They did a Joe Bob 24-hour marathon a year ago, and pretty much broke the internet. They just crashed their servers because everyone was watching, and so they did a Joe Bob shorter marathon for Thanksgiving and one for Christmas, and now they're going to do a what sounds like it's going to be a season one kind of a thing where they'll do a double feature every Friday night for 8 episodes, 12
Yeah.
episodes, something like that.
Jordan brings up Critters is coming to Shutter.
Yep, they're making it oh
It's,
God, what did they
it's a
call it?
TV show.
Yeah, it's got a cute subtitle, and I forget what it is. It's the it's not the main course, but it's something like that. Um, yeah, critters, nom noms, something. But I watched the trailer, and it looks like it's pretty much all practical effects. Not really great practical effects, but I'm like, you know what? I'm there. We're there. It can't be as
Yeah.
bad as 4.
Oh man, I don't think I've actually watched a Critters movie all the way through, and man, I'm trying to do a or a search for this,
Let's
but
see.
yeah,
Doot, doot, scrolling. Nope, I can't find it.
TV show. Come on, throw a TV show on there. The new binge, a new
The,
binge.
the new binge.
Yeah,
That's what it was. I remember.
yeah.
Okay.
But
Um,
yeah, that's going to look interesting. And I've always thought Critters was kind of an interesting concept. Like I said, I haven't watched one of the movies all the way through. I've
what's
seen
fun?
bits and
I
pieces
think
of
what
it.
really makes the concept sing is the critters themselves. The krites. They are not just little monsters. They're not just
They're
animals.
sentient.
They are
Yeah,
actually sentient spaceship piloting beings. They
yeah,
have they have language, they have culture, they pilot their own spaceships. They're just short little toothy things. Um,
yeah.
I think that's what makes them so fun. But if you've never seen any of the Critters movies, one is pretty good. Two is worth watching. You can skip three and four.
Yeah.
Still waiting for Killer Clowns 2, aren't we all?
Yeah.
Because Killer Clowns from Outer Space is great.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Okay, Zachary, what do you think about this? Dead or Alive 6 just came out, and its first season pass is $93.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, yes, it
That
is.
is absolutely bonkering ludicrous that they would charge that
And
much for
in case anyone was wondering, no, Dead or Alive 6 is not a free to play game with a lot of DLC. It costs $60.
it costs 200 or $150. If you buy everything, that is a staggering price for a video game.
So what comes in season pack 2 or season pass 1? Two characters, including my Shira, whatever her name is, a series staple. So that's kind of scummy right there, and an unannounced character. So two
George,
characters and
you mean
like
Dead or
60.
Alive? You're here for the bazungas?
They ought to just Dead or Alive Bazungas. Pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah.
Well,
Because
that's what the Extreme Beach Volleyball series was about.
it's very bouncy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I think there's two characters, one of which is longtime series standard Mai, um, and some other unannounced character, and about 60 pieces, 60 outfits. Um, Yikes. Now, as gross as that is, it didn't surprise me because Dead or Alive 5 has like 1,200 some odd dollars worth of DLC. Not kidding. I actually looked it up because I was like,
Yeah.
didn't the last game have over $1,000 of DLC? Because I remember, occasionally I'll browse the PS4 library, and and I'll be scrolling down, and it'll go Dead or Alive 5. I'm like, okay, Dead or Alive 5. I'm like, gee, and then it's just just pages of Dead or Alive 5. I'm like, what is all this crap? It's all costumes and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's like that train simulator on Steam that
Yeah,
if
which
you
has
wanted to buy everything,
$1,000
it's like
stuff.
$16,000 or something. But yeah, it's
Remember when we had Ryu Hayabusa? Neither do we. Eh.
yeah.
So,
Uh,
so there was that this week. What else?
so Steven Spielberg
Oh
hates that
yeah.
Netflix got recognition at the
What's
Oscars
what
this
are your
week.
thoughts about that? Do you think Netflix films count as TV movies and therefore should be competing for Emmys, or do you think they should be eligible for Academy Awards?
Are they? Do they air on network television or cable television? No, they don't.
They
So
don't.
they're not television.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's kind of my feelings about it
you
too.
know, and if your only criteria is that you need to the movie needs to be in X number of theaters for X period of time before um, before streaming release, then if Netflix does that, then it counts. That I think Steven Spielberg is just being a
He's
curmudgeonly old
he's being
man,
old.
and
Yeah.
and doesn't like change. And
Yeah, it does come off as that you damn kids kind of thing, and I
yeah,
understand how sacred the theater experience is to a lot of people. I was going for the older generation, but I'll
yeah,
just say people. It is, but things are changing. We're moving. You got to evolve. Streaming services is, and the nice thing about it is, I mean, not every. If you live in LA and New York, it's great because you can
yeah,
watch everything at every theater. But if you want to pay $15-20 per ticket, but I mean, think about my mother, who lives out in Cadiz, Kentucky. She has to drive all the way to either Hopkinsville or Clarksville if she wants to go to the theater.
Does she
There's
take
no
does she
theater in
take the last train to Clarksville?
Kansas.
Yeah, but
There
yeah,
actually, well, there is a train there, but
yeah,
it doesn't go anywhere near Cadiz, as far as I
yeah,
know. But Cadiz is a 20-minute drive from her house, and
yeah.
then it's another at least 25 to 30 minutes into Hopkinsville, and then another 20 minutes up the freeway to Clarksville. So, I mean, isn't it better that isn't streaming a good thing because now people who don't have access to theaters, which sometimes aren't really clean or aren't really kept up well or
Yeah.
aren't in focus, the presentation is crap, the audiences are rude, isn't it more important that more people get to actually see these movies? I think so. I mean, what good are movies if less people can see them?
Yeah, and to be honest, the number of movies nominated for Oscars that I've never even heard of is staggering. It's like I go and I read the list of nominations every year. I don't bother watching the
Well, I'll tell you,
award
Roma
show.
was actually in theaters longer than a bunch of
I know that.
the other films that were nominated for awards.
Yeah, that the article that you
They,
sent
they
me,
open in like
mentioned
they
that.
open for like a week in New York and LA, and it's like, we're eligible now.
Yeah, and that's one of the things is that in the article you sent me, they were like, any move that they make to disqualify Netflix is going to hurt these indie filmmakers
Yeah,
that
foreign
get
films, indie
nominated
films,
for
yeah.
foreign films and stuff, and that's something that you really have to take into account is that to protect the big guys, you got to hurt the little guys, and uh, and nobody wants to hurt the little guys because like I said, half the movies, more than half of the movies that get nominated for the Oscars, I've never even heard of, and it's because they're just these little films that from creators who are just trying to win an Oscar, and that's pretty much all they're trying to do, and that's one of the reasons why I hate Oscars is because a lot of these films like A Star Is Born. This is like the fourth film. It's the third remake of that, and the only purpose is so that they can get an Oscar, and it's just okay. That was one of the reasons why I was excited to see Black Panther get nominated this year, and Get Out get nominated last year, because these are films that you wouldn't normally think would receive an Oscar, and they actually got nominated. And I can't remember if Get Out actually won any of its categories, but Black Panther did this year, and it's a superhero movie. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse actually won Best Animated Film, and it's just these are great strides and makes the Oscar something that I might actually want to watch at some point if there's more films like this in there. But yeah, but other than that, it's just like I have no interest in watching nine, half of these films. So, but
Oh, can't say I agree with you there, Snake. Black Panther was an okay movie. The main baddie had as much depth as a puddle. Uh, I'm,
yeah, I
I'm
can't
thinking
agree
I'm
with
thinking that's a like a knee deep puddle, man. Um,
that.
I don't know any Scottish memes, so no.
I think he's talking about the Scottish memes around the Pokemon Gen 8 trailer, but because one of the characters is dressed up in you know traditional Scottish outfit.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but
But yeah, I really liked Black Panther. I saw it in the theater again a couple weeks ago on a free thingy.
yeah,
Disney had a
for
Oscar slash Black
Black
History
History
Month
Month. Yeah,
promotion. So I got a free ticket. I'm like, great, free movie, wee! And I went, and my opinion did not change one iota. I
yeah,
liked it just as much as I did the
yeah.
first.
It's still a good
Uh,
movie.
I still think, yeah, I think it's pretty great. And I like uh, Killmonger is the I think he's a really great villain. Uh,
Yeah, he
I
does.
think what works about him so well is he, he's you understand where he's coming from, and he's even right. He's just going about it the complete
The
wrong
wrong way. Yeah,
way, and he influences the hero, and the hero
yeah.
acknowledges
Hero
that. He's like,
changes
we
because of
created
that.
this villain, and he's right, but going about it the wrong way. So we're going to achieve his goals, but the right way. And
Yeah, that
that's
was
that's pretty damn neat, especially for a superhero movie. Usually, it's just aliens want to take over the world, punch them in the face until they don't anymore, and which is a lot of fun. But
yeah.
yeah,
You can't say that about any of the other villains. I guess you know, considering Loki's the only other major villain that's been around, but he has impacted Thor and has been part of Thor's um, you know uh, growth arc, but he didn't really have the same impact on how Thor changed or how Thor became who he is now after what 6 movies that he's been in. Yeah,
mhm.
but
Spawn movie. Well, they're working on a Spawn movie, so
yeah.
Blade reboot. I don't know. What do you think? Wesley Snipes reprising Blade in the MCU at some point?
No, I don't think they would do Wesley Snipes. As much fun as it would be to see him return as in the role, I think they would go with a much younger actor. But yeah,
Hmm. Well, I mean, they could just do Old Man Blade or something like that. Oh,
yeah, Old Man
Black
Blade,
Panther
that
put
would
you
be
to
kind of
sleep
fun.
in the theater. Oh, well, no wonder you weren't impressed with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
no,
it's not for everyone. Some people just didn't care for it, and
yeah.
that's
I
okay.
could see Michael B. Jordan in the role of Blade. Yeah,
Sure, sure. I
but
think Wesley Snipes could still pull it off, though.
oh, he could, but it's just I don't think Marvel would go with they would want someone younger and with more theater cred
Someone they could get
with
a
modern
couple decades
audiences.
out of, because
Yeah,
Wesley Snipes getting up there, you're only going to get
yeah,
another 10 years out of him, probably.
yeah,
So, yep, and we got a new Marvel movie coming out, but it's not this weekend, so I got to wait another week. I'm like,
yeah.
when was the last one that came?
Got
The
my
last Marvel
tickets
movie was
already.
what? Ant-Man and Wasp, which was last summer.
Um, that was the late summer, yeah, August release, I believe. So yeah, that was their last August or September, but yeah, that was their last
Yeah, I'm jonesing for
Marvel
some more
film.
MCU stuff.
I am too. I've got that.
And this one's got a kitty in it.
Yeah, and we got to see more Kitty in it, and in the latest trailer, and more fun. Nick Fury reacts to Kitty footage too.
I know. Oh, that's a
Yeah.
we need a Fury and Chewie but or a Goose buddy comedy. That's
There
what
you go.
road trip movie.
Um,
So let's see. The new Star Wars sucked. Solo or Jedi? I mean, because the new one we don't even know which title.
yeah, will suck, but I don't know. I'm enjoying the new Star Wars, but I'm a fan of Star Wars, but I'm not.
I'm a casual fan of Star Wars. I like some of it. Some of it I didn't care for. Some of it I think's outright bad. But most of the recent stuff all of the modern ones, the last four, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rogue One, and Solo, all four have at least been watchable slash entertaining to me. I haven't been like, oh my god, because I walked out of Phantom Menace kind of depressed. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
how old? Phantom Menace was 99 or
98 or
2001.
99, I think. It was
I was.
let's
It was
see.
99, right? Yeah, I was in college
Yeah.
at the time, so I would have been 19, and I walked out of that so miserable. I was like, I was almost like lying to myself because I was counting down the days, like 136 days until Phantom Menace comes out, and then I saw it. I'm like, no, it was fine. It was funny, right? I was like trying to convince myself that it was good. And it took me like a week. I'm like, Phantom Menace was
Bad.
bad, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
I was like having an existential crisis. Of like, Star Wars sucked. So
Well,
it's
and you
always a
got to
shame when
admit,
an entry in a franchise you really like just
yeah.
doesn't do it for you. That
Oh,
man.
yeah, and back then, more than half of the extended universe books were pretty bad too. So, um, there were some really good stories out there, but man, there were some crap extended universe books, and
Some are good, some are bad. Yeah.
yeah,
Let's see what else. The new Avengers is I think it's in May. So excited to see how that wraps up. We got our Spider-Man movie in the summer, so that'll be fun. DC's I really liked Aquaman, and
yes, Aquaman.
Shazam looks fun. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with Wonder Woman 2. I don't think that's till next year though, right?
Or
Is
late
that a
next year.
2020 movie?
I'm not sure. Um, Let me look that
Did
up.
I know of the Ewok movies growing up? Oh yeah, Quest for Endor. You betcha. That damn spider freaked me out when I was a kid. I mean, it's so goofy now, but
Yeah.
that
Wow,
whole
it is a 2020 release. Man, what's taking so long for that? They've
the Ewok Adventure and Battle for Endor, yeah.
been,
The second one is kind of crap, but the first one I really quite. They're actually both bad, but as a kid, I really liked the Ewok Adventure.
yeah. But Wonder Woman 1984 releases June 5th, 2020. And I'm just like, this has been filming for like a year. What's taking so long?
Yeah,
But,
I'm really curious to see what they do with Cheetah. If they're going to do the kind of wear Cheetah kind of Cheetah, or if woman in Cheetah costume Cheetah.
yeah, I don't
I'm
know.
really curious to see what they
They
do with
haven't shown anything from her other than a couple
it.
of stills in her as you know
It,
not
mhm.
Cheetah.
It's Kristen Wiig playing Cheetah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they showed one stunt where she or her stunt double just jumps up onto a second floor balcony railing or something like that. So they're probably doing the wear cheetah thing, and if they do, I'm really curious to see what they do with the makeup.
yeah.
So you will be disappointed if Thanos is beaten easily. I doubt that will happen. Like the movie's 20 minutes long. Captain Marvel shows up and punches him into oblivion. My work here is done. Bye, everyone, and everyone just kind of stands around awkwardly. Yeah, that would suck. Or no,
I
even
think it would
better,
be.
Squirrel Girl shows up and beats Thanos.
I think it would be a very. It would be a very interesting move if they finish off Avenger or Infinity War and or Endgame and not be able to reverse the snapping.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
uh,
because my theory is Spider-Man 2, Far From Home, actually takes place
before.
before Avengers. Because I said this a few weeks back, but I think they in Avengers Infinity War, Spider-Man is on a school bus with the rest of his class. My guess is that's the bus back from the airport. They're returning from the events of the Far From Home movie. So
That is an interesting theory.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my thought anyway.
But
But
no,
no, no.
you know that they're going to reverse at least the superhero deaths, but man, if they can't undo the entire thing, I wouldn't complain. Like
Oh
we
yeah, the
managed to get some of
Joker.
these
They're doing
guys.
a Joker movie that looks like it could be really interesting. They're doing another Suicide Squad, which is just kind of hitting the reset button
Yeah,
on that. Yeah, I'm excited for all this stuff. I love superhero stuff, and I want it all to be great. So
definitely. So
yeah. Oh, so one more thing. There was very little itty bitty bit of maybe Ghostbusters news. So we've been hearing rumblings that the new Ghostbusters would just be baby Ghostbusters, young teenager Ghostbusters. So Variety
Monster
or
Squad,
Hollywood
Stranger Things.
Reporter, where the hell did I read it this week?
Variety is the
Variety
article you sent me.
says Finn Wolfhard, which is still a great name, kid from Stranger Things and It, and Carrie Coon, who is in stuff, are in talks to star
Yeah,
in the new
I don't.
Ghostbusters movie. She's on the Fargo TV series, but I've never seen it. So anyway,
Yeah, and apparently she was in Infinity War, but I don't know what character she was in that.
all
But
right. So sources tell Variety that the story will focus on a single mom and her family, and that's all we got. So that could be.
that
I mean,
is
it's such
an
that to me
interesting
is a
take.
more
Yeah.
interesting premise than a bunch of kids fighting ghosts. Because I was talking about this on Twitter, and my thought was, okay, so maybe mom and the kids are in their house, and the house is haunted, but no one believes them,
Oh,
so they repurpose a bunch of the old Ghostbusters equipment and run around their house trying to get rid of the ghosts. And I'm thinking kind of like a what? How did I describe? Like Poltergeist, but with
yeah.
proton packs, or
Hmm.
mouse hunt with proton packs.
Yeah. Carrie Coon played Proxima Midnight
Oh, did she?
in
Okay.
Infinity War.
No
So
wonder I didn't recognize her just from the picture because she's covered in makeup in that.
yeah,
Uh, Snake wants
yeah,
to see Shazam. I want to see Shazam. Looks like it could be really good. I,
yeah.
I'm
It does.
I think that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like Zachary Levi. I think he's a great comedic actor, and I think he's going to
Oh
do.
my God, is his name Levi? I've been saying
Yeah,
Levy in my head the entire time. Oh
but
man,
yeah, I loved him in Chuck.
that's
That
a
was a
TV show,
great,
right?
yeah, great TV show. He plays a um an accidental spy type character, um, but yeah, I think he's a hilarious guy, and just what I've seen of him as Shazam, um, you know, superhero-fied Billy Batson, he's playing the role to death, and it's great. So
So Jordan's got a great concept. Remember Muppet Babies, which is all the Muppets but as babies in a daycare. What if we had horror icon babies like Freddy and Jason? Just this little diaper wearing babies, and that might be
uh, yeah, I
completely
think I've
wrong.
actually
That sounds
seen
great. Someone
artwork
has to have
of
done that
that.
parody at
Yeah,
some point.
yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure I've seen artwork of that before,
yeah.
but yeah.
All right, I think we've blabbered enough. So I've got to eat dinner. Zachary's got to go to bed.
Yeah.
So, hey everyone, thanks for watching Molehill Mountain. I'm Andrew Eisen. Eisen is how you spell the last name. Plug it into Twitter, and you can watch me eat kumquats. Because who doesn't want that? Uh, my Twitter handle is at Andrew Eisen. I have another debut review in the can. I just have to edit it, and maybe I'll do that tonight. So maybe it'll be out tomorrow. I don't know. The next thing I watched it's the original Sailor Moon. So that was fun. So
Okay.
okay, so that's it for me. Zachary, plug away.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Easy Night, where I talk about gaming, politics, and other things. And if you're interested in my game development stuff, you can check out DK _ gaming on Twitter and divineknightgaming.com. And if you are interested in the Oklahoma game development scene, check out OK Game Devs on Twitter and okgamedev.com.
It's a very clean can. That is, Jordan. So, all right, that's it from us. Thanks for watching. We hope to see you next week. Take care, everyone. Bye
All
bye.
right, bye.